and welcome to Sustainable Family Home for another week. My name's Zoe Anderson. I'm one of the project coordinators at the Canberra Environment Centre, and this is a little project we're doing while we're all in lockdown. Today we've got Mia Swainson and a couple of her children.
I'm Xavier, and this is Taz. I'm Taz!
And can you tell us what you're going to do today?
And him and Mum.
And today's episode is about pruning, because it's, it's not quite winter time.
Oh God, pruning!
It's not technically winter yet, but it's winter time in Canberra. It was below zero this morning, very cold, and so it's a good time of year to get pruning.
I'm pruning the grass.
Before we get pruning, Xavier, so we might actually start by cleaning our pruning equipment. So we've got over here just a rag and some methylated spirits, and we're just going to pop this on.
Is that drinkable?
What do you reckon?
No.
Definitely not. It's poisonous. It's a flammable liquid, but it's also
Haven't we set fire to it?
Definitely not. So I'm just putting a bit on here. It's definitely poisonous. You want to keep it out of reach of children like these lovely ones here.
It smells good.
It smells good. So we've got two sets of sort of secateurs or pruning implements. We've got this one here, which is quite big.
I'm using that one.
You're using this one? Okay.
No, I'm using that one.
So I'm just giving it a little rub down. And this one is really wide. It's a hedge trimmer.
Mum, I'm using that
hang
one.
on.
Save yours is
Hang on.
bacon.
Well, it is Xavier's turn to have an episode, Taz, so he does get to choose it. But it's your episode tomorrow. Tasman's doing a cooking episode tomorrow, so today's pruning. Now,
How many cooking episodes have we done?
We'll talk about that a bit later.
2.
Okay, and then I'm just putting a bit more methylated spirits onto my bit of
If someone spills
cloth here, and methylated spirits, and I'm just here. We've got just some, not even sure what they're called. It's like secateurs, but pruning.
So the methane saying
shears.
later spirits. Methane later spirits.
Methylated spirits. So we're cleaning them so that we don't transfer any like viruses or disease between the plants when we prune. So we're going to do 2 lots of pruning today. We'll do our rosemary bush, which is like a hedge to trim.
Okay.
And we'll also do our feijoa tree. We might not get through the feijoa tree, but we'll do the principles behind it. So the first before we get into our rosemary, which is behind here, we've noticed that there's this privet, which is a weed growing in it. So Taz, if you could get your secateurs down here. We'll just take, you do don't go near me. Okay, you do this one, yep. So we're going to start just by taking this weed out. Yep, mussels.
I'll start.
No, because you might get my head, okay? So safety first.
Safety last.
I need to be looking at you when you're using it.
Safety last. There is also a number of other things. Food, water, air.
Okay. And so, do you want to show that to the camera? So this is the bit that Tasman's been pruning, the privet.
Can I try?
Not with that hedge. That one there is designed for hedges.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do I get to do the hedge?
So we're taking those out first. There many more of them?
Yeah, just one more. I think you've got it yet. Shaking it.
Have we got any more?
Yeah, there is one more.
Oh, yeah, over there.
There's a bit more.
Oh, another one. Yep. That'll be the last one.
It's been really shaky here.
That one there. Okay. All right. So I think we got the last. Oh, no, we didn't. Well, we did.
Now I'm trimming the head.
Wait. I've got it. Okay. So we've got the last of the privet out. Now this rosemary is right next to my veggie patch. So just the camera's over there, Taz. So I actually want to trim it right back. Not just a little bit, but right back. Because in the winter time, I really want the sunshine on my veggies.
Like I can see
And
a bit down
I've got
there.
plenty of rosemary in the garden, so I don't need this rosemary for eating. This is actually just decorative. So yeah, Taz can, and you can do it at the same time now. So Xavier,
I'll do this one.
yeah, I want you to trim it about this. We want to take quite a bit off, about a foot or two off. Yeah.
I don't know
Could you
the
come over,
system of measurement, but
Zay? Could you come over here so people on the camera can see what you're doing? Because you've got the trimmer now. It's your turn.
everyone knows what we're doing.
Yeah, but you want to see just how much you're taking off. So I want you to take it off to sort of about that height there. See where Taz is? Yeah. So you
Oh, so like this?
can even more. Yeah, at least that height. Oh, good job. Yeah. Great. So and lower again. They might go even lower again.
Okay, I'll do it. I'll do
And
it.
that low. Yeah.
Okay, that one.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make it.
So we're going to give this rosemary a really hard prune.
And we'll be using this in the fire, right?
And we do have a little backyard fire for the winter time, and when it dries out a little we can put it on the fire because rosemary makes a really nice smell on the fire.
It's like burning incense.
Yeah, like burning incense. So this rosemary is going to be sort of like it's got a flat top essentially, and hopefully it'll stay nice and low for the whole of the winter time, letting the sunshine into my veggie patch.
Just shaping it.
Yep.
They're
Good
also
job.
cutting it out.
Can I have a little turn, Zave?
No,
Oh, okay.
I'm doing good.
All right. Well, while Xavier and Taz are there doing the pruning behind me of the rosemary, I might talk a little bit
of the rosemary.
I might talk a little bit about the next bit of pruning that we're going to do. So the next bit of pruning we're going to do is a fruit tree. It's a feijoa tree. They're just about finished.
As we're supposed to be doing it to this height.
Yeah, keep doing it that height. So you go that side and Taz goes that side.
That
So
doesn't
because it's a
really work
fruit tree, we want to
We'll end up
prune
on
it the way
right
you typically prune a fruit tree. So this feijoa that we've got here needs a lot of the middle taken out. So the first thing I'm going to do is really take out the middle and make sure there's lots of space on the inside. Then I might sort of trim the sides so that things can get it, trim anything stray, and then I'll just really chop it back. So just so that it's too high, because the feijoa also is right next to my veggie patch and I want the light in the winter time. But also I like to keep my fruit trees really low so that I can always pick the fruit. So there's a couple of reasons why you prune. One is so that you can always reach high enough to pick the fruit, or with feijoas it's not such a problem because they fall off. But with this feijoa, I want it low so that I can have the light in my veggie patch. So boys, you're just about done. You're doing a really good job. I don't know if you can see it's had a real haircut here. Still a bit here.
It's a lot better.
Yeah. And I reckon we could come over
We'll
here.
be able to find all this scattered stuff.
We might come back to the rosemary and start on the feijoa just so we can show people what it's like. So
Well, no, Tasman can do the start on the feijoa.
okay.
And then
Xavier's busy, so Taz and I might start over here on the feijoa. All right. Oh. So here's the feijoa.
yeah.
So what we want to do, Taz, is see how it's all. See, it's very, very bushy. So we've got to let in some light. So Taz, can you come over here, huh?
It's like a bush, Mum.
Yeah, it's very bush. It's a shrub. Come over here, Taz. Can I have a turn with your
Which
one
must
there?
explain why it's
Taz?
very bushy.
Taz, if you just do anything. it could
Like
be a
fish
bit-
are
So-
fishy because they're
gonna-
always criminals.
I'm kidding.
They're
you right in
criminals.
here.
That's the fish's main job. They're mainly criminals. That's their main occupation. They're fishy.
And I'm just going to try and clean it out so that a bird could fly in, so that birds can fly in, not just the teeny tiny ones, but, you know, something slightly bigger. Not a currawong, but something not, yeah, actually, I don't even think a small wren could fly in here at the moment. So
I don't think one could either. Unless it had incredible aerial skills. Or had a giant laser.
So
Only one of which birds can have.
it's pretty funny.
Bird jumps out of the sky with a giant laser.
Birds have lasers. So I don't know if you can see there, but I'm just making.
In a world
It's actually
where
quite
birds
nicely
have lasers.
shaped. This feijoa. It just hasn't been pruned for a couple of years. It's
Don't forget that Godwell is where feijoas are.
what's where feijoas are?
The Godwell.
The God world. So
Tasman
it's been nicely
obsessed
pruned in the
with
past. So
birds.
all I've got to do is just trim out all the little branches that have grown up so that I can find that really nice vase shape that actually does exist on this plant. You just can't see it because it's so
Hey,
bushy.
I can use this to tap Mum when I want her.
Yeah. Now I wonder, are there any feijoas? Do you want to see if you can find some feijoas, Tasman?
You can tap say.
Tasman, can you see
I'll
if there's any
see.
feijoas at the bottom of the tree? I'm not sure. Well, I might have a quick look. Oh, I think I found one. All right.
You've only found 1,
2. All right. It's sort of the end of the feijoa season for us, but there are a couple underneath the tree, which will make nice eating. Feijoas, when they're ready, they drop off the tree. So that's it in terms of this tree here. We will prune it, and later on when it's a little bit colder, we'll also prune our fig tree. And we've got many trees in our garden. You can probably see behind me, that's an apple that hasn't been pruned this season, but you can see it's a bit flat on the top, so we gave it a hard prune last year. But we've got a lot of pruning to go. So we tend to start our pruning early. We start about now, just as the leaves are starting to drop off the plants. We don't wait until the middle of winter where it's freezing cold. But pruning's such a beautiful thing to do in Canberra in the winter time because it gets you outside, gets you active, and you're still in the garden and you're not freezing cold and you're doing something really useful, and hopefully you'll get a better yield in the summer time from those fruit trees. Before we go to questions, I might just show you the fabulous job that Xavier and Tasman have done with this rosemary.
Hey, I did most of it.
Well, mostly Xavier.
See, it's flat off.
Yeah, it's looking nice and flat on top.
I'm just doing a bit of a
Side prune, yep, just down the path there. Beautiful, thanks Xavier, good job. So I might see if there's any, if there's nothing else. That's it from us today. If there's any questions or comments, I can see my dad there. He's a master pruner. He's has an olive orchard, and I should have consulted him before today. If there's anything you wanted to add, Dad, it would be most welcome.
No, you're doing a fantastic job, Mia. As I told you, the only wrong way to prune is not to prune.
Thank you.
And then you start from there. Everything from there is a plus.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, Dad's helped us. You can see behind the rosemary is our fig tree, which hasn't been pruned yet, but we'll prune that shortly.
Yeah.
And we just we take at least a third off every time, just to keep it
vigorous. Anything that's vigorous growing, you just, especially in Australia, you just need to really keep them, as you say, but otherwise they just grow too big, use too much water, use too much fertilizer, and you can't pick the fruit. So yeah, keep them low.
Yeah.
And well looked after.
Yep, and it's very productive, that fig, as long as I give it a hard prune, take out the insides and hard prune on the outside. As long as it can get, you want to prune it so that those birds can fly in between until the figs arrive, in which case I net it. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, Dad. Any other comments or questions? Is there anything from you, Zoe?
It's just great to see, I think some people, myself included, can be a bit scared of pruning, but it's just great to see that the most important thing is to go for it. And as long as you're a bit sensible.
The thing people don't realise about pruning is even if you make a mistake, the tree will grow back naturally to correct your mistakes. Because of sunlight. The tree will naturally rebalance itself. So many people are paranoid because there's all this big hype about pruning, but the worst thing you do is not do anything. So yeah, and also you're pruning for purpose. You know, as Mia was saying, the open vase technique is one tradition where you open it up so the fruit's on the outside. But a lot of pruning now in commercial orchards, it's gone to trellis pruning, where they just have one central stem and it's in like almost like a hedge because it's harvested mechanically. So pruning is all about, you know, what you're trying to achieve kind of thing.
Yeah, thanks, Glenn. That's a really good way to think about it, you know.
Yeah.
Just go for it and have a go. And unless you start with a chainsaw, you're probably going to be okay.
Nothing wrong with a chainsaw either. Chainsaw's good.
Just know what you're doing, you know. Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so much for having us today. It's been a pleasure. And we'll see you again tomorrow for alien pancakes.
I can't wait. Fantastic.
Bye.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Mia and Taz and Xavier. Bye.